Back with Adam Jones this morning from ECR. Adam, good to catch up. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. How are you going?
Yeah, good, Adam. As investors are aware, we've received in the last couple of days here the data from that recently completed LiDAR survey done at Hurricane in Queensland. Just firstly, Adam, for those not familiar about LiDAR surveys, what are they? What do they tell us?
So LiDAR survey is light detection and ranging. That's what it stands for. And what it does is that you just fly an aeroplane over your, well, we, in this case, fly an aeroplane over your ground, and it shoots out, hundreds of thousands of laser points at the ground. The great thing about LiDAR is it penetrates through even blades of grass, tree cover, and so you can really accurately map out that topography layer and see any undulations or any protruding outcrops or whatever. So that was the reason why we did it over Hurricane, was more to see the terrain in a bit more accurate detail, and also to evaluate, any potential outcrops along strike.
So what's it told us about the Hurricane project?
So far, looking at the LiDAR results, I looked at the results and the elevations and that on the LiDAR data in comparison to, outcrops we already know are there. And so the outcrops we already know are there, are sticking out up to 22 meters wide, as you can see on that photo. And the reason is they're sticking up is because of, most of the time they're full of quartz, which is our target. That's where the gold mineralization is hosted in at Hurricane, and they're resistant to weathering. So they have hard resistant ridge lines. And we already know sort of roughly the strike of these things. Generally the structures are striking northwest through the tenements. And so we just use the LiDAR data to really just see what's sticking up on that northwest trend. And as the announcement says, is that we've got a few candidates there to have a look at. And so essentially it's just to walk out there, walk on those ridge lines, which I'm anticipating doing in August, going back up. And have a look at them. And if there's quartz there, we'll rock chip them and evaluate them.
So tornado, cyclone, homes, these are some initial prospects at Hurricane.
Yeah, so they're the main prospects that the company who we're acquiring the tenement off after the option period is over. So they've already done done a fair bit of work already over the outcrop, especially those outcrops you just said then. Probably the main one of interest would be tornado and the homes. And the reason is the tornado is, it's at least 200 meters long. I actually physically saw that just a few weeks ago. It probably averages 3 meters wide, but there is zones there going up to 20 meters wide in certain spots. All of these prospects are undrilled. They've had a lot of sort of channel samples and rock chips done across the outcrop. And I think some of the best rock chips on the tornado went up to 17 grams per ton gold. So, but we're looking at, even if we get 2 to 3 grams on average across the whole width of these ore bodies, that's what, it's a very good target for, bulk mineralization sticking out on top and the surface, undrilled. So huge opportunities there, I think, for ECR.
And how is planning for drill access?
Yeah, so one of the main reasons to visit the site just a few weeks ago was to evaluate the access for drilling. So at the moment, there is an old access track that was put up the hill to the tornado. It's all overgrown, it's washed out in some places and stuff like that. So as part of the requirements with the legislation and government, we got the Indigenous owners in as well of the area, and just made sure there was, anything of cultural significance was not there, and it was all safe to go ahead. From what I'm aware is we'll get that final report next week from them, but just from verbal, it's all good. No problems there. So the next step would be to organise a bulldozer driver, essentially get up there and redo that track going up the hill, and then we'll push the track out even further out to the homes, which is another very good prospective target.
And Adam, investors are aware, we've got a fair few samples from Lulworth at the labs currently. What's the status of these samples?
Yeah, so the team's still out at Lulworth, still doing follow-up stream sets, stream hand concentrates. We've just completed a soil grid, which is 1,400 samples over the Nove and tantalum anomalies we've been finding in the streams. We've actually already analysed them with the XRF in-house, with our own XRF. So I'm going to evaluate that and put that all together, and we'll be doing, we'll be targeting that soil grid even tighter to really try and find out where the actual source that is. There was about 100 to 130 rock chips taken over the last couple of weeks. I did myself. I did them personally up there over some of the main areas of the targeting novium, tantalum, lithium, and also the gold. A lot more further work I'll do in August up there as well on my trip up there again. So we've got about 200 stream sets as well in the lab. However, we've only got, it's happening Australia-wide really. There's only about a choice of 2 labs essentially in Australia, and yeah, unfortunately, I just had news literally yesterday that one of the labs is going to be a bit delayed. So we're going to go and make other arrangements, so to speak, to go to another lab to try and get a quick turnaround on that. So yeah, so we're looking at getting the gold results first for the streams and the rock chips, and then we'll have a follow-up announcement on the multi-element, which will include all the Nove, tantalum, lithium, and also looking at rare earths as well now. So yeah, so plenty of news to come out of that.
Well, that's right. You and I were both on the phone yesterday to the laboratories, potentially looking at the use of both. So what are the next steps here for Lulworth?
It's just, follow up soil, do a tighter soil grid over that Nove and tantalum. And really actually just focusing on, we're doing a lot of the gold areas now in the center of the tenements. So there's about 4 cattle properties we work around to get all these, and we've already done half of them. So 50% of the work's already been done for the year. So we're moving on very swiftly. And yeah, so, and I'm like, I'm anticipating that's just going to be ongoing at least to October. So we're going to, the samples, so the guys are out in the field for about 2 or 3 weeks at a time. And then what happens is they'll bring in the samples to the lab, 2 to 3 weeks for results. That's what we're hoping for, or what we've been told. So yeah, so there's going to be a steady flow of results over the next 2 or 3 months.
Just a quick final word, Adam, on Hurricane. It's been described a number of times by Andrew as a later stage project. Is that how it's looking to you from your site visits?
Yeah, so I think what Andrew is alluding to there is, even though it's had rock chips and it's had no drilling done as such. However, the type of geology and the type of mineralization there, it's simplified. It's on the ridge lines. It's just there, so to speak. And essentially, people have just walked around it and been focused on other areas nearby. So yeah, and that's what we mean by advanced, is that it's a bit of a secret, so to speak, and everybody's just been walking around it and not focused on it. And ECR now has given this opportunity, and so it's just just planning to put the drill access into there and to test the widths and the grades at depth. And if that's successful, then I think it's essentially just drill it out and hopefully try and get an early resource in there.
Good to chat, Adam. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks.